well, we're 30 years old. It's not, that's probably a piece of information that only I find relevant. We were founded and still represent the interests of tour operators and others who bring clients into Europe from the rest of the world. So we're very interested in selling Europe as a destination. We're also interested in selling the individual countries of Europe, be it the UK, France, Italy, or indeed Greece.
Okay, and your perspective then on Greece, and how does Greece fit into this?
Well, I mean, Greece is a unique jewel. I mean, what I was going to try and do initially is answer the question on the exam paper, if I may, Dan,
no, but that's
which was our political. I can be very quick on this. Our political tensions in the region affecting the tourism industry. The short answer is no. What's remarkable?
We just heard that they've benefited Greece because tourism has gone up in Greece as a stable place in an unstable, where some of its competitors have been less stable.
Well, I think we're looking at two sides of the same coin. What I was about to say, what's remarkable about Greece is that apart from a blip in 2012, which I think was caused by uniquely unhelpful scenes being broadcast from Athens, which led to a material decline in city tourism, the basic product of Greece has grown exponentially ever since that point. Since 2012, you've seen Greece growing year on year to the point which we've reached now. And this is despite the fact that you've got the Syria crisis, you've got the concomitant Turkey problems, you've got the people arriving in the Greek islands from Turkey, all of this broadcast throughout the world, and yet demand for Greece has been robust.
But my point is, isn't it partly because of these, because Egypt, because Turkey, because some North African countries have suffered because of instability and geopolitical tensions, actually Greece benefits from this?
I think, well, the people who, well, you're looking at comparative, you're looking at the comparative desirability of some destinations for Northern Europeans. Yeah. And if they don't go to Greece, they start looking at Spain. And I have said that those mid-years of the teens, Spain did particularly well during that period. And if you want to see the place that benefited from Turkey's suffering, and it has to be said Turkey suffered principally from... Sorry,
but indirectly, Greece, because Greece competes with Spain, indirectly, the good times of Turkey or the bad times first spill over to Spain and then from Spain over to Greece. So, I mean, there's always...
I think we're chasing things on a pin here. The main news is that when I started in this industry in '86, in '91, the sort of news that Europe is generating would have led to a hemorrhage in demand from North America. You would not have seen any Japanese, you would not have seen any Chinese coming in. Now, basically, the audience is robust. You can have really serious news which will affect demand, but in broad terms, people don't panic in the way that they used to. And I'm trying to be positive here. This is the good news. And Greece is the appeal of Greece appears to be robust in unpromising circumstances. Now, what would I do? I'm often asked, Mr. Jenkins, you bring in, or your members bring in Americans, you bring in Japanese, you bring in the long-haul clients that spend the most money. We want more of them. Lies outside the kind of sophisticated government discussions which we've just been having. A really simple idea. I arrived this morning in the airport. I had the privilege, soon to disappear, of being able to use the EU line. I glanced to my left, and there must have been 200, 250 non-EU Europeans, I assume they came from Russia, but I have no idea, waiting in line for immigration. That means they've got, on entry into Greece, they've got an hour to an hour and a half wait standing in line. The Americans that I bring in, the Japanese that I bring in, will be standing at the back of that line. This is a dreadful impression to make. Now, be assured, no country gets this right. The UK is dreadful at handling non-EU immigration lines. But if Greece could spend money in that place and be the best country to process immigration arrivals for non-EU nationals, what a fantastic impression that would make. And it would affect every single visitor. It's very important, the money you're spending in infrastructure, really, really important, I don't question that. But a cheap, instant reward would be to solve that immigration queue.
Well, in the meantime, while they're waiting there, I think the minister could put on some promotional material about the wonders of coming to Greece in winter, you know, and they could...
yeah, the queues would be low. That's actually true. Yes.
But, well, I mean, that is a very good practical example. Can you talk a little bit about the new markets that Greece could be attracting? I mean, China, for example, you mentioned Japanese, but I don't think you mentioned Chinese. Surely the great story of the next 20, 30 years is going to be the growth in tourism from Chinese people who are absolutely desperate to see the world, in particular cultural gems like Greece has to offer.
Sorry, that's for me.
Yes.
Look, China is a fantastic market. We've been spearheading the European Commission initiative on the EU-China year. We've been running workshops in China. It's a fabulous growing market. All markets are important. New markets are particularly welcome. China comes with all kinds of caveats, though, and by all means, invest your money in promoting to China. Expect the returns to come in, but do not expect the returns to come in quickly.
Okay, but it's a long-term...
It's a long-term buy.